Okay. First matter we have on the agenda is the secretary's report, which is the minutes of May 13th meeting. Did we already vote on those or just the action item that is in there regarding the May 13th regarding the solar plant?
Yes, I do. Okay, I'm sorry, say this. Yeah, it's recorded. So say this one more time. Sorry, I was.
So we didn't vote to approve the minutes. We just voted on a board vote on the
Right, we've
action.
not, right, the minutes still need to be.
Yeah, okay. So I'll entertain a motion.
Don't move.
Second by Anthony. Any discussion? All in favor?
And I do want to just add one thing that the board, just for the record, the board did approve to go forward with using capital reserve to pay for the replacement of the compressor.
Right.
So if you could note that it was done by email vote.
And what's the status, or are you going to report on it?
It's actually been done. The compressor's been replaced. Yes.
So do we have any adjustments to the agenda?
Well, I had a quick, very brief, on the second page, where I had wondered whether there was any impact from towns. It was really whether there might be an impact, because there wouldn't be any impacts yet, whether there might be an impact from towns as a result of the requests for,
Okay, so
that's all. Just to make it more accurate.
so you accept that change, and you've already voted,
Yeah.
so you accept the change.
Yep.
You accept the second. Okay.
Yeah.
All in favor again?
Yeah.
As amended, all right.
Yeah.
Let's, any adjustments, any thing anyone wants to add or subtract?
We're gonna go to those guys first.
Okay, if there aren't, I will, I really have no comments at this time. So we can move on to the solar scope of work and energy.
So we have EMC.
There they are.
Is here, so I don't know if you wanna come to the
Yeah, that would
the
be
front
great.
or over just where everybody can see you.
Yeah, we
We
could all.
don't have anybody on
Sure.
Zoom, but we are recording the meeting.
Okay.
So I'll introduce, this is Tom Seekins. I know you've all met at various times, but I will just reintroduce Tom Seekins, who's the president of EMC. Dan Labrie, who's our project manager, and Eric Rodstrom.
Yeah.
It's close, who's an engineer with EMC, and so they're here representing EMC, and so I just want to let you know, I did send some questions that the board had. And so they are prepared to answer those questions and any other questions you have and to give you any updates you need, so.
Okay. Why don't we start with? You can go ahead and answer the questions that were pre-submitted to you, and then we'll see.
Yeah, I think it's important to note, I mean, obviously, it's a bummer that we couldn't get the size of the scope that we wanted in the beginning. And I think after probably some explanations, we'll get to why. But this whole process of design, bid, build, I don't know if Karen's in here? There you are. I don't have my glasses on.
It's okay.
I
I don't look any prettier than usual.
Oh, yeah, after I dropped her off at school and bought her a muffin, so that was my treat. So I apologize, I can't see across the room, but you all look great. So this process takes a very, very long time. In the beginning, if folks remember, and I don't remember who was on the committee entirely, to be honest. But it was about a year of engineering, from July of 2023 to June of 24, before you guys as a committee decided on a scope. And that's not like totally abnormal. We do a ton of school systems. EMC's been doing these in Maine for 30 years. Almost all schools, municipalities, places like libraries, committees, boards, it takes a long time to make decisions. There's a big game of patience and understanding and relationship building during this entire process. So while we spent a year of engineering projects without really knowing, what was going to be selected or what direction the library is going to go in, we have to have a lot of patience on our end, as we described and talked about with Karen and Leslie, probably ad nauseum. And it's okay. We hold all that cost. We don't charge you guys anything to get there. Meanwhile, we've got professional engineers like Eric and Joe, all with designated expertise. So the thing that our team is really good at is having folks that are experts in each individual field. Which is why I think another firm that you guys had interviewed or selected had actually called EMC and then shifted the job over to us because it fit our team a lot better than what they had. They had done an analysis and discovered that it was probably best for a company like ours or ours. So during that time, we have other folks that are in the industry that are, have more expertise than us on certain parts of this. Refrigeration, the VRF, lighting being Dan and other experts that did the audits. Building automation controls is Eric's expertise. He's licensed in it. Joe's a licensed heat pump person. Eric's a licensed engineer for the mechanical side of it. For the solar piece, we relied on our solar partner and expert to do that design. The 4-foot firewatch it was totally on us. We should have seen that, which obviously pulled back a lot of the amount of the arrays we could fit on the roof. So, but as a reminder, during that year of engineering, what we do is we make a lot of trips up here and come up with concepts for you guys to look at and decide what you want. So we had a much bigger list of things that we looked at. You didn't select all those things because you're not going to, right? Just like a school system, we're doing all the Freeport schools. We gave them 131 measures to choose from. They chose like 34 for their first project. There's a lot of engineering that we do, right? During that time, kind of like you guys, doesn't mean it's actually going to happen. So clearly, we're not going to fully engineer and stamp drawings for solar or controls or VRF or ceiling tiles or anything until we know what you guys are going to choose. So we provide the concepts and budgets based on having done all of these things a lot of times, and then relying on our experts in that field of, you know, the roof or solar in this case, right? So we take those concepts, put them forward, and you guys decide upon those. We should have seen the firewatch aspect of it, which is kind of a bummer. The other thing that really kind of slowed after you guys had voted to move forward, what slowed us up too, is the structural engineer that was of record for this particular project has to sign off on the roof with the city to make sure that it's structurally sound to accommodate both VRF and solar. Not that it's a lot of weight, but you have to have that legally.
With the snow loads.
With the snow load, and there's quite a bit of math that needs to be done there, and it has to be done by a structural engineer. And so Larry, our structural engineer, ended up getting hurt and we couldn't get back from him. And I forwarded the emails to Karen. I said, I'm sure you've dealt with this with contractors in the past, but he took several months to get back to us with his opinion on that. So that's what kind of took us a while to get the application in, because we can't do that without Larry's sign off. But we had already had Larry here 2 or 3 times and paid him. So we couldn't really bail out with another structural engineer. So that's what took a little bit longer on the solar application aspect. During that time, I mean, I know that people are wanting to know what happened with it and why things took so long, but there's also a slight reminder of a lot of extras that EMC has done that were not part of our scope. You know, several thousands of dollars worth of work, whether it's 14 upshot lights that were not in our scope that were replaced, 6 recessed cans that were replaced. We're more than likely going to help you guys with the exterior lighting because that was never part of the scope, but because we focused on the inside, which as you can see here, and we've got pricing together for that to help you out. Installation that the installation contractor was supposed to do, didn't do. Roofing contractor noticed it. We paid them a couple $1,000s to get that done. Those are things that are not in our scope that we just did because it was the right thing to do. Not to mention a lot of the work that Dan had done that was technically not in our scope, you know, cleaning and all kinds of other little things that Dan does. So we don't usually bring that up, but it is a nice reminder of all the other things that we did that were not part of our scope that we did do for the sake of the relationship. And obviously when things take a little longer, you take pride in that and you want to make sure you do right by folks. So that's why we've been doing this for so long in Maine, because we're not going to walk away from a problem, you know, even though it took a little bit longer. So I'm only bringing those things up because they did happen. And, you know, we of course didn't make a deal out of it. We just got it done. Marketing and all the stuff that we've done for you guys in the lobby with the graphic design stuff, that took Eric like a week to do that. So it's a relationship, you know, we try to do things that were not in our scope. And you know, the solar part of it is a bummer because we would like to do a bigger system as well. So apologize, I couldn't get the bigger system in there, but we can only do what the city tells us that we can do. I mean, you know. Yeah.
Any questions? Yep.
Yeah, thank you. I just, I appreciate, the add-ons and all that. I'm still kind of dumbfounded. Given the experience and all that, because, and I came onto this towards the end of this.
Mhm.
So just disclose that, but the number of solar panels that were approved by this body prior to my being on it.
Yeah.
And what we're looking at now is so different. I can't say that we'd have gone that direction. We're now talking about getting some off-site solar to offset the missing stuff, and maybe we would have just gone 100% that way and not have to worry about any load on the roof and stuff. It's just, I can see having a difference of opinion with the codes enforcement officer about 10% or 20%.
Sure.
About how close do we measure diagonally from this corner or that because of the odd shape of the building. Any of that I accept without
Yeah,
hesitation.
totally agree.
This is missed by 2/3.
Well,
And
yeah.
and it just looks like somebody got a Google Earth thing and filled the roof with as many panels as would fit and said, here, try this, without any engineering or any thought or any knowledge of codes, or that it was going to have to be looked at by somebody else. And I that's my big question. And I thought that was something that we had submitted in advance and not something I've heard an adequate answer to. And, I've talked to the codes enforcement office in the city, and, the permitting process and all is one thing, but you can run things by them and say, hey, is there any obvious problem with this before you formally apply? I mean, it's not a hard thing to do. And I don't feel good about this.
Well, no, the solar piece, I mean, you should feel good about the entire project because the entire project is and has gone very well. Everything that we were supposed to do and then some we did. The solar part, we would love nothing more than to have done a much bigger solar system. I mean, it also dropped almost $200,000, more than $200,000 off from the price of the project. So obviously all that money goes back to you guys. So we couldn't build a bigger project and in theory, make more profit.
But you sold a bigger project.
Yeah, we'd love to.
Maybe we don't buy the $90,000 or whatever it is,
Yeah.
There are certain economies of scale. And when you promise a $250,000 project or whatever it is and deliver a $90,000 project, that's like, again, that's just, I'm not gonna, I wasn't here and I can't be in anybody's head, but it's just, that's too big a difference to just say, oh, well, the codes office pulled a fast one on us, that was.
No, nobody pulled a fast one on us. We relied on our solar expert in this one to do the due diligence like we did for everything else. And clearly we didn't check on the fire watch, which because of the shape of the roof, it's usually not that big a deal, but it is in this case because you said it was the odd shape of the roof. We did re-engineer the type of panel that has more power output than a typical panel so that you are reducing it by 1/3, but only a half reduction of the kilowatt hours produced. So going from 68,000 AC to 32,000 because the panels have more power, have more output than the prior panels used. So we switched from the Hanwha panel Q cell to the Silfab. So we went with a different panel that would provide more power, even though there's less panels. Once again, we want to do a bigger project. We sized the project based on the VRF to try to provide basically free heating and cooling on the VRF side of it, which the solar would power. We discussed community solar versus owning your own. And community solar is a tough one for me from a contractual standpoint because you're obligated to produce a certain amount of power and you have to sign a contract for a certain amount of years. So it's always in our opinion that you buy your own solar, whether it's a system this small or a megawatt system. If you're able to finance it, if you're a school department or municipality, definitely buy your own solar if you can do it. Because you control your own destiny. I mean, you don't have to sign a contract to use a certain amount of power. You're not stuck to a certain rate, all those different things. So we talked about that stuff 2 years ago when we were developing this thing. So I don't think it was ever interest there for that. It was more or less, let's have our own solar system. So again, I would love to have done a bigger system. We didn't charge you for the whole system. I understand that we sold the concept of a much bigger system, but I mean, it also hurts us too because we couldn't deliver a bigger system. There's no excuse. The city didn't dupe us at all. It was totally on us for the application. Again, we'd love to have done a much bigger solar system here.
Any comment or questions?
So do you not usually like just curbside the code enforcement officer for any issues? I guess that was the part that I didn't really understand.
We actually brought him to the startup meeting. Fire chief was here, right? When we did the startup meeting, somebody from the city came. Was it the code enforcement officer that came? It's been well over a year now, but we brought an official from the city to the startup meeting to discuss the project. I think it was fire chief. I think it was a fire chief because of the smoke detectors being disconnected and setting up the smoke detectors to make sure.
No,
Steve is-
no, it's in Parks and Rec.
Yeah, but Steve was here. And someone else who I don't know who it was. I do know that all departments of the city were invited, but not all had the time in their schedule.
Right. No, so we did, yeah, we reached out to the city on that. With all these different measures going through, if there's, I don't know, 18 different measures we did into this project, considering, you know, the lighting, the lighting controls, the building automation, the VRF, the ventilation, the heat recovery, building envelope, magnetite windows. There's a million little things that we did. And that one, that's the solar aspect of the 4-foot fire watching the roof slipped through. I'm not even entirely sure. I'm not trying to make an excuse for anything. I understand the frustration. It's frustrating for us too, because we would love to have built a bigger system. I mean, bigger the system, the better for us. I mean, clearly. So we were bummed about it as well. We'd love to have said that the solar system matched the load of the VRF. That was the goal. That was the math that we did. So.
I'm still not quite clear. So that what actually happened? Someone didn't check with, I mean, you said it was a sub who didn't check with the code officer?
That's exactly right.
So that's not something that's routinely done?
It is, and we're not even sure exactly why. We haven't even when we've gone back and forth, like, how did we miss this piece of it when we were redoing the math? We just didn't get responses. It was just kind of a, you know, which obviously that expert's no longer gonna be part of our development team and hadn't been, but
Because I think that was our question, really, I think, is,
Yeah.
you know,
yeah.
what happened? Not that things took longer or whatever, but what happened?
yeah, so like for.
That seems to be,
Yeah,
I
no.
think, the question that we had.
That's exactly what happened. I mean, when we had to check on the VRF through city ordinance and code situations, the electrical, everything that we've done, everybody that was in that particular field, whether it's Eric's, Joe's or Dan's or anyone the number of people on our team, they all made sure their piece was covered, and we have development meetings and we'd have calls a lot, multiple times a week during this process, and say everybody got their piece covered, and you just say yes or no, or I need help or something. But if someone's an expert in that particular thing, and it's like, yeah, same with the roof, same with everything else. And we relied on that expert to be clear that they're all good. And there was a lot of work done on that. It wasn't like we just went with, you know, a Google Earth picture. We put time into that and work into it, like we did for every single measure. So that's exactly what happened for to not see the fire watch. Well, not every city has a fire watch ordinance. Well, I mean, okay, that's not an excuse here. And I'm not trying to make us an excuse. We own that piece of it. And trust me, it bums us out too. Because you do all the extra stuff that this is a list of extra things I didn't read off. There's like 28 things that we did above and beyond our scope that were not part of this job that we've done.
Can you see that without your glasses?
Up close, I can. That's a great question. I memorized the 4 that I said.
Could you share that with Leslie so that the whole
So that
board,
I'm at home.
so that we can see it? Can you share that with Leslie so it can be sent?
Okay, see you later.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's good.
So a lot of good things happen here. I mean, as you can see with the marketing piece in the lobby, we spend extra time doing, why would we do all those things and not check that one piece of it? I mean, come on, it's like, Eric spent a week doing graphic design work for you guys for your website and trying to showcase. I did a symposium with Leslie and helped her present this things that you guys have done as a library in Sunday River. And a lot of extra time went into this, guys, from our team over the past 2
I'll be
years.
talking about that. So yeah,
So-
Tom was with me. We presented at MLA a few weeks ago. I'll also say one other thing. I was gonna hold, well, I'll wait till you're done, but I had some great news and one piece of it is directly related to kind of this conversation. So I wanted to share that. I'm gonna go ahead and share it now. So, and also it's in part to EMC has helped us with grant applications when we've needed, and I don't know that that's in your scope, but you have done that. And as a result, we have just been awarded $55,000 for the solar. I just found out today with the phone call. I am not allowed to share with what organization because they're doing a press release on the 27th of June. So I can't see any more than that, but what I can tell you is this was a global grant given out to libraries all over the world. And we were one of from 2 to 5 out of between 60 and 100 applicants. So this, I thought it was a long shot. We were getting, and EMC has also helped us giving us numbers and that. So they do a lot more. And so I just want to remind everybody that too, and as a result, we are getting a $55,000 grant for solar.
Great, thank you.
So I want to thank you for helping with.
Should be some more efficiency main coming too, some money from efficiency main.
Right, we have quite a bit from Efficiency Main coming when the BRF system is done as well. And that's all work. They did all that legwork. I didn't do any of it. So
Yeah.
that's what's great
Yeah,
about
for
a
the library.
turnkey situation like this is, there's a lot of things benefits that we get. Yeah, super. Oh,
When is the air conditioning going to be turned on there?
Yeah.
We're on.
That's question here.
I'm still told by them by the end of June. They've been told
The end
that
of
multiple
June?
times. They had
July?
some shipping issues with the rooftop units. Of the 5, 2 were significantly damaged upon arrival. So they had to send 2 more. And they get a protective coating that goes over them. So as soon as those get here, everything else, you've seen, they're all basically all in. There's a few more by the stacks. All the wiring and lines are run to them. So it's just really a matter of getting those on the racks and everything are up there for. So just gotta put those on and then make the final connections, and then we can get those turned on. But I'm told by the end of June, that will be operational.
We normally have BX on that too, but we've done a bunch of the other locations with heat pumps, and other contractors, not Mac Air Pro, have had the same problem with them being shipped. They're making those things faster than they can make Nabisco cookies, for crying out loud. There's so many of those things going across seas that they're showing up damaged because they're just trying to get them in shipping containers and get them. I mean, that's all efficiency means trying to get money for. All throughout New England, we've done some huge heat pump jobs. So they are showing up damaged in some cases.
That's too bad.
Okay, is there anything else anyone wants to add? We're all set. Thank you.
Okay?
thank you so
Thanks for
much.
Thanks.
I sent you that.
Thank you so
Okay,
much.
I'll send you an email with some of the extra stuff.
Okay. Thanks.
Yep.
Thanks. Thanks.
We're back.
It's exciting. I wanted us on the.
Oh, I see.
Somebody was actually doing
I thought we had
it.
like an AI.
Our meeting's been hacked.
Okay, Leslie.
Okay, all right, so no
Can I get
nothing
Karen?
else you wanna say, Mike?
I'm sorry.
Before I.
have one more question. You'll be needing my input.
I think we're all set.
I think
You, yeah.
we're done with you, Karen.
I'm trying to be good. Thanks, you all.
Thanks for all your.
Thanks.
Thanks for doing, Karen.
Thanks for all your work.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, so I will do my report. I wanted to give a couple of updates. One of the things I wanted to talk about briefly was my presentation that I made with Tom at the Maine Library Association in Sunday River on May 20th, I believe. So the whole it was perfect timing, and it was a great presentation because the whole theme of this year's MLA was sustainable libraries. So we fit in perfectly. So I submitted a presentation request, and they accepted it. And so Tom and I spoke, and actually the name of the project, or the name of the presentation, was called Energize: Designing a Sustainable Future. So Tom and I talked about how this project came to be. I talked about the historic building and sort of why, you know, the various expansions and why we needed a new HVAC system, and how we decided to incorporate through a strategic plan into a bigger plan that would also include lowering our carbon footprint and some other sustainability measures. And then I talked about how we sort of partnered with EMC, and then Tom talked specifically about the project, and then we answered some questions. So it was great because some of the people that were there from different libraries were interested in they had like aging HVAC system, or they had a historic building, and it was sort of like, there was one, I can't remember the library, they had sort of partially done the HVAC and they needed to go back and finish it off. So there were jobs that were like partially done. So they were really interested in how we worked with the MC and that partnership. So there were some good questions afterward, and they did actually get Tom gave some cards out. And as I didn't realize they're now doing the Freeport schools, but EMC has also worked with the Portland Public Library, and the director, who I know well from the Portland Public Library, was there at our presentation because she wanted to hear about what they were doing, because they're looking into doing some more work with EMC. So it was really worthwhile. And I think, you know, I was really appreciative that Tom was there with me, but it was well received, and it was a great MLA. It was great, but it was really great that we could showcase such a wonderful thing that the library is doing. So I wanted to mention that, and then I also wanted to mention, there were a few of you that were here for our staff development day, which was on the 25th. It seems like years ago already. It wasn't that long ago, in May. I just want to tell you a little bit about that. We had 15 staff, which was excellent turnout, and 4 trustees. So that was very good. So the whole purpose of this day was, we had a few objectives, and these in our managers meetings, we sort of came up with these ideas working with Darla Jewett, our consultants. We wanted to have fun. We wanted to work on team building and trust. We wanted to work on communication, which is always something that can be improved upon in any organization. And then we did a visioning with staff and board together for board staff relationship building. And that was actually, they were all terrific exercises, but that was a particularly great one. And then, so we started out, so it was all day. We did it in the reading room. We started out with a bingo, sort of an icebreaker for staff to kind of get to know each other through a bingo activity. Then we did a communication activity using popsicle sticks. So these are just ways that we sort of learn how we communicate with each other. And then we did an outside, we did the outside river crossing. That was fun. We did it in the gazebo and we split into two teams and you had to figure out with these very little resources, how are you gonna get from one side of the gazebo to the other? So that was again, more team building exercise that we did. And there was one member from each team, who was willing to be blindfolded. So that even made it a lot more fun. And then the last one we did, I don't know if any of you have ever done this, it's called Zoom, and it's another, it's a listening exercise and a communication exercise where everybody is given a picture and they have to keep it to themselves and not show it. And what happens is there's a sequence and to these pictures. And so by communication and listening, you figure out what the sequence is. And so we had a lot of fun with that. We had provided lunch, breakfast, snacks, and then we did the afternoon. We had Mary give us, Mary Randall, an update about summer reading. So there's a lot going on with summer reading because it is for all ages. So of which I encourage every single one of you to participate. We have a great prize too at the end for a raffle for the, I think for adults as well. So you should do summer reading. It's really fun. So
Kickoff day is when?
the kickoff is June 20th.
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
And then the afternoon was the visioning section. So we did a power of two diagram where you start in groups of two. And actually, so what I'm gonna do after this, I will share with you the results of that, all our sort of the words. So are the visioning, the question we asked was, what is your vision of PFL by the year 2035? So how do you envision the library 10 years out? And so we use this power of two meeting, two people meet and sort of talk about their visions together, and then two groups of two come together and they meet, and then they sort of work on modifying a vision statement with the two together. So at the end, we end up having four vision statements and a list sort of ideas and things like that go with them. So I'm gonna be sharing that with the trustees, because that could be a jumping off point when you talk more about future vision of the library and strategic planning and other. So I'm gonna share that, but that was some things that came up, regular things. There's a couple things that was on every vision statement, which was sustainable funding. That was on every single one. I'm trying to remember some of the others. Fully accessible. Yeah. What else, Samantha, can you think of? So I'm trying to remember just the themes, but anyway, I'll be sharing this document with you, so you'll be able to see. So some of the comments, we did an evaluation sheet afterward, and a lot of the staff, that they really liked the visioning portion of it. Again, that was one of my favorite parts as well, that they had wished there were more trustees present, that they did like what we did. One of the other things that bubbled to the top was staff. They were really happy to just spend time with each other, to be, because we are pretty much never all in, or this many of us in the same room for any length of time. So it was really great. The camaraderie was wonderful, just for staff to get to be together and do fun activities, as well as some real work. Some staff, they want to do more in-depth, talking about issues, or talking like as break out into departments, so they can sort of have a little more work sessions. That was something that came up too. So I think what we did was very successful for our first year. And so now we know what we need to build on, or what we call the parking lot, where there are things that come out of this meeting. Like there was some circulation things. They want to have a more in-depth meeting about something specific, which wouldn't necessarily be appropriate in a large group. So we've just got some ideas and some ways to go forward. So it was a really great event, and I'm looking forward to the next one. So were there any questions? Or I know Leah was there, from Suki was there.
Vicky and Carl.
He was there, right, and so Carl was the one,
Carl,
yeah,
yeah.
and if you have anything to add, they were only here for the visioning in the
Visioning,
afternoon, right, not the morning. So I thought the visioning was great. I
Yeah,
think the products of what came out of it.
And we matched with staff each, we didn't stay together as the trustees, we matched with staff.
Right.
And That was good. No,
Yeah.
it's worth going to. It was definitely
So it-
worthwhile.
And yeah,
It'd be good to have more staff there. It was a chance, I mean, it was a chance to interact with staff in a
Right.
way that some of us don't do regularly, so it's
so
good.
the staff turnout was great. I mean, so I would hopefully maybe, and I know that there with people, when you've got jobs and stuff, it's hard to make, especially an afternoon during the week. So maybe we'll look, or maybe we'll just do a visioning or something else at another time, but that was really worthwhile day.
It was good to share different people's visions of the library and the things that were important to them and to balance them off and you think about how much you can do and what you can't do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good.
Yeah, I know, I'm so glad you were there. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
glad for all the trustees that were there. It was really great. So I will share that, what was the result of the visioning and,
Do you think you do be in favor of doing it again like in a year or
oh, I will do
or
it at
aspects
least
of it?
once a year. We'll do something, this is gonna be a regular, just kind of see what, now that staff know we've done one. Look at the evaluations as well as, in 6 months from now, people may have another ideas of, other
Of
things
how
may
to-
bubble up that
yeah.
they'd like to include.
Good.
So, yeah, it was really terrific. I think those are my reports. I'm so excited to get to the next report, but yeah. So I got a little over. But anyway, if there are any questions, those are just the things I wanted to talk about.
Great. So
Thank you.
next we have the consent agenda, and so I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda. And then after that.
Oh, no, I think we're doing the capital campaign
Campaign
update
update
first.
Yes. Yes, right.
Aye.
Okay, do you want to sit
That's
here?
not
so you
on,
can-
that's not on my, must have an earlier version.
No, this is
Report and then.
After librarians.
librarians report, then capital campaign update, and then consent agenda?
You just.
I
screwed it right by
got an earlier version, it's up the
Yeah,
top. so,
It's
okay.
too far up.
Oh, you know what? You got, I think, a draft, but that's not the one from the Google Drive. You were concluded on the draft because, yes, you're not looking at the.
He's running with the draft.
Oh, I made a.
I'll let you see my screen.
I do have it up.
Oh, good.
Okay.
You just printed a hard copy for.
Yeah, I think you printed the draft
I
because you were
did.
included in the.
Yeah.
I was wondering why you were going out of order. I thought.
I've been going out of order this whole time and no. one
Yeah,
said
it's
anything.
Only a
Michael
little
likes leading the meeting, trusting you.
Okay.
Oh.
So now I'm offline, so I will pick the else.
You are.
All right, well, you all know that I love a good slideshow, so we've got one today. Anthony is gonna help me with this. I'll start with an apology because I put some materials in on Friday that are now horribly outdated.
In a good way.
In a great way. So
I have some really exciting news to share with you, and so I get a little sweaty. We have had, what are you laughing? This is probably the big,
but it was like when we were sending the email.
so this is probably one of the biggest things that I've ever been able to say in front of the board, and this is so exciting. We have received a $750,000 pledge to go with a $250,000 pledge for $1 million pledge towards the capital campaign. So this came about by hard work, and people want to remain anonymous, so I'm not gonna share that information right now, but this is the biggest gift since I've been here that we've ever received. And so Anthony will be, so along with that and the other news, which I had already said, which we received, or be getting a $55,000 solar grant as well, is changing these numbers dramatically, which you will see. But it was really exciting. We worked very hard, and the people that worked very hard are not, one thing I like to say is it takes a village. It's not just the people that did the ask, but it's every staff member that works with patrons and people, it's a built up of over years of their commitment and their dedication to the library. So we do have a total of, so when we talk about this gift depth chart, Rebecca, we sort of like, how are we gonna get to these? But we have some very generous people, and we have this gift,
Fantastic.
which is Amazing. So I wanted to share. That's our breaking news. So.
I think the spirit of this gift is also, it's related to the conversation we've been having about the concept drawings and should we be bold and move forward, and the intention of the gift is for us to feel brave and comfortable to, you know, dream big for the library.
Be bold.
To be bold. So our total as of today is now $2.59 million. This is really exciting. We have over $1 million that has come in cash and the remainder being in pledges. As you all know, we approached our top dozen donors to the campaign and talked to them about Scott Simon's plans, our ideas and thoughts. And just in the course of those conversations, $1.1 million were committed to encourage us to move forward. Sorry, I don't know how to get this little thing away from here. There we go. So this is just all extremely exciting. I want to take a quick moment to share some data, is a strong word for it, but we did ask everyone we spoke with, there were 10 individuals who participated, to rank the 3 project areas, being the first floor entrance, circulation, reference, and lobby, as one separate project, the children's room and children's garden as another, and then the community room expansion as a third. The majority of individuals ranked the first floor lobby area number 1. A few did rank children's number 1. So those 2 things came out far in the lead. There were no individuals who ranked community room first, and the majority did place that third. So some clear feedback is always good, right? We also asked each person about philanthropy, both in the sense that we wanted to gauge, as community leaders in philanthropy, what did they think about this moment in time, some of the uncertainty we have politically and economically, and then specifically, does this project inspire them to give more? So 4 said, absolutely, yes, we'll be giving more. 3 are likely to give more and giving some thought to what that would look like. And 3 said that they had already stretched their generosity to the maximum the first time we asked them, which is A-okay. And then in terms of the broader conversation on philanthropy, I think it was fairly encouraging. Some really powerful comments about the role of philanthropy and community in a time like this, and how the library really is an important part of our community and our society. So I think we felt pretty darn encouraged even before we knew about that $750,000 commitment. And so I did put a report in the packet. I do recommend that we move forward with the first floor. The community room responses were also neutral, and in some cases even a little bit negative, that I think that I don't necessarily feel that the library should do nothing up here, but maybe give it a decade or so and then have a bold idea for that, rather than can we just take down this wall? It just wasn't inspiring folks. So I would say hold off on second floor for now. To do the entirety of the first floor design concept, including that very generous 25% contingency, would bring the campaign goal up to 4.75 million. And I think to be safe and give that work time to happen, we would probably extend the campaign timeline by 12 months, which is necessary for our $750,000 commitment, which will look like $250,000 a year over this year and the next 2. And so the campaign committee, we've discussed these recommendations together. Anthony wants to say some words about
Sure.
this. Yeah.
Well, I will first say I am pinch hitting for our esteemed president and campaign chair, Carl, who cannot be with us tonight.
Yeah.
So you are getting the backup B team, if you will. So our AAA, maybe the Portland Sea Dogs of the campaign.
Blue Sox.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I think it's, well, thank you. Yeah, Blue Sox. Still can't get used to it. The old Paw Sox. So as we said, the recommendations from the Capital Campaign Committee is to move forward with the first floor reimagined spaces concept, raise the campaign goal to 4.75 million, extend the campaign timeline by 1 year, and to hold off on the community room improvements. And I want to speak to that last point for just a moment. The campaign, as Rebecca sort of alluded to, feels that the improvements to the community room, or maybe we'll say the second floor, could be better suited for a campaign of its own down the road, rather than added to this one. When we do that now, trying to add it to this one, it really restricts what we could do up here. We feel that we could have a much better renovation to this floor if we were to have its own campaign down the road. And down the road could be 5 years, could be 10 years, maybe it's 6 years. Who really knows what that means? It's really determined by us. So we just think that right now, given where we're standing and where the well, frankly, what the donors feel and what the community feels and what folks feel at large, right now, tabling the community room and second floor is the right decision, but not getting rid of the idea, just putting it aside for now and giving it some more thought. The community feels that this budget represents a meaningful, valuable, and long-lasting impact to the library with an equal focus on its patrons and staff. The goal of the Reimagined Spaces was to take feedback received in the surveys and apply practically to increase the functionality and decrease blind spots and give the staff a space of their own to relax during their breaks on the first floor without having to interrupt board meetings and repair cafes. One of the main features of the concept is the new entrance, which takes the ADA entrance and combines it with the main entrance, creating one cohesive entrance into the library. This also speaks to equity, having one entrance for everybody rather than splitting off the ADA entrance into a separate entrance, which I think if you actually read the actual ADA, you're not supposed to do that. So anyway, we'll move on. The main entrance leads into a new lobby, which then leads to a combined reference and circulation desk. I think it's important to note that this combined desk allows for a more central location of both reference and circ desks while keeping clear sight lines throughout most of the first floor. This addressed a key concern in the staff survey, which has been safety and the ability to keep eyes around the library while working. So what we're doing here is we're addressing things that have come up from the staff and the community survey. We're not just pulling things out of Vogue magazines or Better Home and Gardens just for fun. We're putting things that are useful and practical into it. So we'll move forward with looking at the budget, if you don't mind, Rebecca. Oh yeah, there's a lovely little slide here. We can't forget this one. Sorry.
Yes, there were so many positive quotes, but two that fit nicely right on this slide I grabbed that folks said during our process.
I got to watch her make the slide, by the way, and that was a lot of fun, I will say.
I love Canva.
It was great. I sat back in my chair and just watched. So this is the current campaign budget as it sits now with the first phase for the energy efficiency, the current budget for Reimagined Spaces, and then the phase 3 for the endowment, and then the expenses.
I thought I saw in one of the things that you're gonna put something into the endowment each year going forward. Is that not happening?
What you're saying right now is reminding me of a conversation we just had in our most recent internal campaign meeting. We need to go back to calling these goal 1, goal 2, goal 3, not phase.
That's a good point.
Yeah, and I think we're actually, depending the vote that happens today, Samantha, Cookie, and I have a 3-hour workshop on Thursday. And we are going to just get all of our materials finally ready, because of course there's all of these folks that we've been wanting to talk to about the campaign, and I kind of have been holding everyone back until we put a really polished effort forward. That's an example, because I think it's suggesting to you that it happens at the end.
Yeah, and I think
And
that's
because
such
of the
an
word phase.
such an
Yeah,
important.
that's a good point.
And so I think, and we had also kind of noticed that, so it's gonna be called goal 3.
Okay, thank
Yeah.
you.
There are the 3 goals.
Goals.
Current goals as approved. The next slide will show the proposed goals as recommended from the Capital Campaign Committee. With the Reimagined Spaces really seeing the difference, and then also the campaign expenses. You'll notice a difference there, given that we have added an additional year of fundraising. It is possible that it won't take us that long, If it doesn't, then it won't cost us that much. But it might take us that long, so it might cost us that much. So we have put that in there just in case.
I mean, we've raised $2.6 million in 15 months, so. I
Hey,
mean,
who knows?
Who knows? Yes.
But you never know. So our recommendation is to push it out a year, plan for that by budgeting for that, and to increase the reimagined spaces. So that is where we are there. So I
So-
would take any questions.
Yeah.
So can I just ask a question?
Of course.
Does this take, we talked to the architect, or the whatever, the Simon people, that this makes sense to them? Is that?
In what sense?
Even as far as the amounts?
About the, yes, if this makes, yeah.
We did
exactly, yes,
receive,
that's right.
we did
And the
receive,
time, and the timing and everything, yeah,
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 we did receive a cost estimate from them and all that. So yes, it does make sense. As far as raising the money, we're
Yeah.
working on raising the money before we start building anything as of right now. So
Yeah.
this is a fundraising
yes.
goal. This isn't a
Mhm.
building
I get
plan.
that part,
Yeah.
yeah, but I just
Yep.
want to make sure that the numbers that we have are solid numbers and.
Right.
Yes, so
And-
they used a cost estimator and then gave us a 25%
Contingent.
additional
built
contingency
in a
over that, just because the world is so nutty right now. So I think it's a conservative.
It's a
Creative
pretty
number, yeah.
conservative number.
Hasn't it gone up a couple of times already?
It will.
Architectural, I mean, originally it was gonna be 1 million.
Well, that
That
was,
was.
But we put a number that we
Thing.
decided to say, let's put a number on this
Yeah.
and then come up with a bunch of ideas. And then those bunch of ideas cost way more, of course. So that
Yeah.
wasn't because any architect told us what you want to do costs $1 million. That was more like, what do we think we can?
Right.
and the million
It
was
was a
before we had
placeholder.
drawings.
Right.
Yep.
I had one more question
Yes.
because I was reading in the material that somebody said that the accessibility ramp was problematic, and could that be adjusted or? do
Yes, so with concept drawings, there's a lot of flexibility to make changes.
some- Okay,
There will be
Um,
changes.
There
by
will
the
be
time, but-
probably a lot of changes, exactly right.
This is
So
a very, very concept phase.
Yeah.
It's nowhere near engineered drawings.
And as that person gave that feedback, they also gave a suggestion of how to check that we're doing the best possible job with this, like in terms of checking with the local people who,
right.
what am I trying to say, the
It's one of the things. that I-
accessibility folks who know how to do this, so.
Yeah,
One of the things that I've been, it slammed into me is how the accessibility is, it's not easily accessible to somebody who is slightly handicapped. Yeah, so I think that really brought that very closely home to me.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I
And
can
there will
imagine.
be some improvements to the children's entrance, no
Mhm.
matter what happens. There are some things, that's actually, we got a grant for, and that's actually gonna be happening. This fall, we're working, actually, the city, we're working with, that's another, I can talk about that.
Yeah.
Under old business or something, but that's,
Okay.
but I can tell you that there's gonna be some improvements
Good.
to just that
That's good
entrance,
too.
because it needs it.
That's good too.
So just to clarify, nothing is going to start being built or changed or whatever until the money, the 2 million.
so as of right now, the board has not decided anything in that realm.
Okay.
So as of right now, that would be the answer. So
Okay.
we haven't done anything like that. So right now, we're asking to have the budget approved to fundraise for this project. We'll then talk more about the actual implementation of the project.
Mhm.
We haven't talked about that yet. So right now, if we as this body approve this budget, you won't be seeing ground broken anytime soon. You're not approving groundbreaking. We're
Okay.
just fundraising for it.
Okay, that's what I wanted to
Yep.
clarify.
We're
Yeah.
basically, we're saying it's okay to go out to our community with these drawings and say, this is what we want to do.
The other thing that I would say too is there's also many other things that need to be done, such as, talk to the city who owns the land. So there's a few other things that haven't been done yet, so that we wouldn't do until we know we're headed toward that direction. So we might start doing stuff like that talking to the folks that we need to talk to.
Mhm.
But we wouldn't want to do that until we know the board has approved us to fundraise for this project. But we're not breaking ground yet.
Okay, and they'll be going out to community members beyond the donors with.
Yes, so
So community members, municipalities will know eventually that some of this is going to happen.
So when we talk about extending the campaign timeline, the part that we're extending is the quiet phase as opposed to the public phase. So it's, as you've witnessed over the past 15 months, a painstaking and slow process. So we will want to speak with every prospective donor one-on-one about the project versus that public phase moment when we get to maybe 90% of our fundraising goal. And then we're blasting the wonderful news about the plans and everything. But at the same time, we know it's a terribly kept secret. If people have questions, we want to share this with them. But the goal is to ask each household that we know loves this library for a specific gift that we think is a good amount that they would feel great about, that would really help us. And so it's so slow. You just do it one at a time. So we would be extending that part so I can actually, let me show you another slide. So there is such a science to fundraising. So if we know that our goal is 4.75 million, then we know we need a top gift, of a significant amount, and then kind of the percentages break down from there. Another way to look at it is called a depth chart. So everything in white is what we've raised so far. And we have started with our insiders for whom we knew that if we had to say, we don't actually know if this is exactly what we're gonna do, it wouldn't scare them away. But now when you look at all the pink, these are the people that we're gonna be able to say, well, we've given this a lot of thought, the board is behind it, this is the plan, and we'll begin making those asks. So there's a long list of folks that we know that we would like to talk to and have not yet. So that's what you'll see in the next 18 to 24 months, probably. Slow and steady, because the way that what's different from a campaign than say what Samantha does every day is that the critical component is that a volunteer, a peer donor in the community participates in each ask. So which is what our campaign committee is doing. So it takes a long time to get everyone in this room at the same time and do all of that.
Yeah, and each ask is about an hour long, so when you think about all, and think about, what do you say for every yes, there are 2 no's?
Yes, so if you look at the number of pinks, you probably need to multiply that by 3 to imagine how many conversations we might have. Yeah.
Sometimes each donor is multiple meetings.
We've been very lucky, and I think part of the reason we've had such a fast and furious success in the beginning, our 2.6 million almost, is that, again, these people who've already signed on know us so well. You're all part of this group and believe in and wanted to sort of give us the ability to build a foundation for the campaign, even as we've been trying to figure out what is this campaign. But I think hopefully today is a day that we can say we know what this campaign is, and then really kind of get out there.
It could be slower in the future.
Yes.
Raising, even some of the donors
Yes.
commented on that.
I would say that's correct, because usually, my job is to kind of like guide folks to do what's gonna work best. So low hanging fruit first. So we're gonna, the people and then it does get a little harder and harder towards the end. All along this timeline, we'll be looking at grant opportunities that emerge and things like that. So it varies, but we will leave no stone unturned, and we'll do the work.
Also, now, nothing is going to be done to the second floor, but I heard you say something about space for the staff, because wasn't that part of the second floor? Now they have that little closet in there, right? Wasn't there going to be staff?
So if you look up on the screen,
I couldn't
Peggy,
remember the
this
plan.
is the staff lounge. The new staff lounge will be right here.
So that's downstairs.
Downstairs.
Oh, okay.
Exactly. They'll have a window. What? It'll be amazing.
Dedicated space, they won't have to walk in and out of
Oh, okay.
somewhere.
Yep.
Perfect.
And it will stay here so that when people have meetings in the community room, they can still have
Yep.
access to.
I see, but it won't
Yeah.
be the staff.
Right.
Yeah, I couldn't remember that.
My favorite part.
So I mean, so we get an upgrade up here without even having to do anything.
Right, there you go. Right, good point, Anthony. So
Positive edit.
And
That's right. You gotta take it when you can get it.
absolutely.
when are we likely to start putting some money into the endowment?
We already have a little bit. We had one gift that, because the board approved, if there is a realized, or was it unrealized? Look at, what's the policy say?
Realized bequest. yeah.
Unrealized bequest.
Realized
It'll automatically, during the campaign time, go to the capital campaign. So we actually have about $33,000 that has already gone into the endowment.
Peggy, the budget draft that is in the board packet this month that Leslie created, I think does kind of have the timeline for which endowment deposits will be made. So that information is there. I just don't remember it on the top of my
Yeah,
head.
but to answer your question, we have received one that we've designated through the board, a board policy during the campaign that goes to it.
Right, but it won't be only bequests that go in.
No, it's not only requests. You just, I think my question, what I understood was that, was
Yes.
there anything in
Yes,
that?
yes, no, that was my question.
Right, and I
That
think,
wasn't part of
but it doesn't mean that if people are giving, and this is where Rebecca can explain that a little better, in as far as someone doesn't designate a gift to a specific goal.
I think, yeah,
how
all
that-
gifts will apply across the campaign based on, how the board and Leslie, as the leader of the organization, know that the funds need to be used. So.
Yes,
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, it says 125,000 for 25-26, and then 125 again, and then
Isn't
250.
that in the budget?
Yeah, and again, it's a working budget, so it doesn't mean
Right.
that 1 year may be more or less. I was averaging it out over 3 years, trying to say we probably put money down later on. Towards the endowment because of other, so it's just a working budget. but
Are we
yes.
looking for a vote tonight, just to
Yes.
be clear? And
Yeah.
then-
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
please.
And is it so is it not the budget per se, but I think what are we?
So how do you wanna do, is it the capital campaign is it the committee making the motion?
I will, as soon as we're done chatting, or right now, I will.
He's ready.
Yeah, I could sense it from Michael. So I will move to accept the recommendation from the capital campaign committee, their proposed campaign budget.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second,
So we're voting only on the budget.
right.
Which will
The amount.
move forward
Which the-
with
Discussion if there.
Which-
but there
Not the
should be a
budget,
motion.
the amount to be raised, the potential amount, that's what we're voting on. I just want to be clear what I'm voting on.
That's a good point. So I
Well-
think we're voting to move forward with the first floor concept drawings and to fundraise for that project.
4.7.
Yeah, so can we pull back the recommendations? This is
Yeah.
what-
Yeah, it's because you're extending it a year, the quiet
Yes,
phase is.
this
being
is what
extended. Yeah.
scratch that. I move to accept the recommendations from the capital campaign committee, which are right here, which is to move forward with the first floor reimagined spacious concept, to hold off on the community room improvements, to raise the campaign goal to 4.75, which is, we have a budget corresponding, and then extend the campaign timeline by 1 year.
Okay.
That's my
Perfect.
motion.
Suki, did you
Second.
second? Okay. Okay, all in favor?
Yes.
Great. Move on.
So happy.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rebecca.
I just wanted to throw. We've got to celebrate because this is a pretty incredible result.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good.
It's been a really incredible effort. I'm so grateful to be here.
I didn't
with
get
you
to
all.
see that slide.
I know, because I put it in after Leslie shared yet another gift update with me today. I was like, I need a celebrate slide. We're on fire. All right.
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you. All right. I think, any other questions for me before I go mom it up?
It's good to see you. We'd never get to see you.
I know, she's on Zoom with the cat somewhere in the
know.
background.
You could bring the cat too. I should have
With her
while she
little
had a
cat.
broken leg, but now it's off now.
Yes.
She's something else.
All right.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
I'm here every Thursday, by the way, so if anyone wants to come chat campaign. Hanging out right in there.
Okay, right.
When I need that air conditioning, cause around 2 o'clock, I start to get a little sleepy. I'm like, it's warm in here, feels like bedtime. Thanks, everyone. Take care.
All right, let's move on to the consent agenda. As I said earlier, we'll take a motion to approve the entire agenda, and then if anyone has any questions from the reports that they've read in advance, they can then ask those questions.
I move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
All in favor? Okay. Does anyone have any questions on the committee reports that I know you've all read in advance?
I'll say I'm thrilled to see Mary going out to visit the libraries in the community.
Schools.
At schools.
Yeah.
At schools. Is that the only, it's just gonna be the schools, right? No other venues?
Oh, no, we're working on, we'll have more coming up on other activities, but right now she's focusing on the schools in advance of summer reading to really promote and to get library cards for the kids, but also to promote summer reading, because that's when when the school libraries are closed, so we get our circulation of children's music materials skyrockets over the summer as well. It's really important.
I can speak to that too. Sarah is at Norris High School Unified. And he gave a really wonderful presentation and really promoted the sense of volunteering. And that's really important for our high school students, and they did a great job.
Good. So thank you, because now Associated isn't just merit, right? It's other, but we're really promoting, and again, it's for all ages and it's,
Leslie, there was an email this afternoon from Steve August. You forwarded that along under governance.
he just asked me he wanted the board to see, he said it doesn't need to be on the agenda, but I got it this afternoon just to let everybody with the notes from the special board meeting about the bylaw discussion. So, but he didn't say it needed, he didn't mention anything about being on the agenda, just wanted everybody to have those notes.
So
From that.
that will be coming up in the future for us to.
I guess so, without Steve being here, I don't know what the next step is.
Does anyone have any other items to
one
discuss? Yep, Suki.
Arousik is voting on the 12th, not the 18th, and it's a really nice to see all these little boards in the library that say, vote for the library, Arousik. You won't have a problem.
We just didn't want to leave you guys out.
Well, thank you. Yeah, and you go on the 14th, right?
On the 14th.
Right, yeah, so I have to get something up for Georgetown, zip, yeah. And I wondered about the CPA search. It sounds like it's really, that's the finance committee. Yeah.
Yes, yep, we are.
Oh, yeah,
It needs to be taken care of soon, because the next fiscal year is starting.
Are we putting?
And so the financial review for the year ending 2025 is gonna have to start up this fall, so.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so that will be, we've got it on.
There's still some more
it's on the
legwork
agenda.
to do on that.
Okay, yeah,
So we'll be discussing it at the next finance committee meeting, and we'll have one in July, or early July, so we'll see where we're at.
I don't think the finance committee is gonna take a vacation.
No,
It probably won't take a vacation this summer.
maybe August, but not July. Yeah.
Okay.
Meeting in July.
thank you.
Also, I was glad to see Hannah's comment that she's going to be involved with the communities around the whole budgeting, not budgeting, but the request to the communities. Because I think that would be great. We could have more narrative, hopefully, and more, so I just wanted to say.
Throughout
I
the
was-
year.
Yes, throughout the year as
Exactly,
well,
yeah.
rather, yes. So thanks.
Yeah.
That's good.
Okay. If that's it, we'll move on to the treasurer's report.
Okay, I'll start with the value of the endowment as I believe it was yesterday. I didn't write the date down.
Yeah, yesterday.
Yeah, 6/9. As of, that was yesterday, right? I can't really keep track. As of June 9th, which was apparently yesterday, the value of the endowment was $8,798,985. and 93 cents.
6.
Does anybody have any questions on the P and L or cash report? I don't have anything of note. Everything's running along. No questions?
Any motion to accept?
No, I don't think we usually vote on.
No.
Okay, we'll move on to the development, Eileen.
Yep, Samantha, as usual, sent me some handy notes. The annual fund as of today, we are at $143,556 in hand, plus $4,414 in pledges. So very, very close to our ultimate goal. The spring appeal mailing went out mid-May to donors and a follow-up email went out yesterday. Open pledges are mostly page turners, or those are the monthly giving folks.
Oh.
Plus some corporators and board members who need to close their pledges. So if that's you, get on it. I'm not gonna say any names. Samantha has shared with governance committee a list of corporators that haven't yet given. Have you heard back from Steve about
No,
that?
nothing. Cookie is keeping track though, and we'll run another report next week, but yeah.
In the past, someone has followed up with
We didn't discuss
corporators
that.
too.
When did that come to the governance committee?
Week and a half ago, I think.
By email.
Normally Leslie and I will look over the corporator list, see who hasn't given, and then, we'll do some one-on-one reaching out to try to get 100% giving. But with the governance committee focusing on corporators, I asked Eileen, she suggested we pass it along and see if they wanted to work on the communication side of that. It's not a lot, it's even fewer now since but
Was
it
like
does
20
help.
It was like 25.
Yeah, and when we never get 100% corporator giving, but it is always worth the last little bit of effort, I think, to try to loop them in.
That should be a goal.
We have some corporators that have never given.
Why are they still on the corporators?
That's a governance discussion.
Steve,
Why I
Steve will
thought
discuss
it's
that.
to governance.
Steve will discuss that.
I'm happy to follow up with some of those folks if you want.
Yeah, we can follow up if we don't hear anything.
Coming up, sorry. What has already happened, Bath Brewing fundraiser raised $350 to support the library, and a check is on the way. There's another one coming up at Long Reach Kitchen and Catering on June 17, which is that a week from today, right? So if you're free, go have dinner, and that will help the library.
That was a good one last year.
And I also have a list of overdue tasks from Little Green Light, which like last time, I'll probably follow up individually outside of this meeting with folks that are on that list and see where you're at by email. So look for that from me in the next couple of days.
Okay, questions for Eileen?
We do have a development committee meeting next Friday, so if anybody wants to
Yeah, Leah,
be invited, Leah, do you wanna?
I might not just wait a week.
The 20th.
Yeah, I will try.
I'll make sure you get the.
Yeah,
the
just keep
link.
me on it, yeah.
Town area school activities.
I'll mention
We have
something.
the good news about the city council voting for the budget. Is that when did,
Oh, yeah, that was last Wednesday.
was it last? Okay.
We were trying to remember this morning.
Right, but it's big news to us, so I wanted to make sure we announce that.
So, yes, announce.
So Bath has accepted,
Announce it.
Beth approved our budget, the library was.
which includes our
Excellent.
request, our
Excellent.
request.
That's been the least of our worries.
Yes, it's very exciting. That was known, so that's really exciting.
Was there any pushback on the increased percentage or anything?
Not at
No?
all. I was a little surprised, but again, we've had, we have a new trash hauler and we have a few other things that have changed,
Oh, I saw.
which should have been in the paper, but somehow despite me dropping several hints, we're not. So, yeah, the library was,
But
well, of course,
Raw
everybody
potatoes.
just kind of course. And there was some support, when people, several people showed up and spoke kindly.
Nice.
I wish I could remember who they were, but again,
I wrote it down
You were
somewhere.
Samantha, we know, we'll be.
but yeah, no, I, even the usual suspects that question every nickel in my experience on the council were mum on this, and I think that's partly because it's a no-brainer, and two, because
I think we
We
did a
had to,
good
we had to
job.
figure out who was gonna get the trash. We-
do that every year.
You know, that,
But I think we did a good job explaining the reasons why and I think.
yeah, I think the history, you know, just you're restoring a historical norm.
That's
You're
huge.
not asking for anything new, so.
Right.
Yeah, I think I had a few just informal conversations. Anticipating some questions. I was kind of rehearsing what I would say in council meeting and then, like I said, everybody was uptight about. There's something else I'm forgetting that we were all uptight about, but I'm in denial at this point. The trash is the big thing because if for some reason our new vendor, who, because the process was so bad, only has 5 weeks to get their trucks and hire their people and figure things out. So if
Their trash is.
if it goes badly and somebody starts asking questions and looking back, now I had lots of help and a committee and the council, but if you were to trace it back to about a year ago, it would start with Councilor Marks asking questions about why are we just rubber stamping the status quo and why aren't we looking for something better? So it's my head on a pike if the trash doesn't get picked up.
Yeah, that's why.
So, yeah, the library thing has just been like, oh yeah, of course.
I know whose house I'll stop at when I. Leave your trash.
I mean, like I said, it's not, yeah, well, that's what I told somebody. I said, I just, as long as my head stays on the outside of the blue bag, you know, my body, I'll be happy.
To me.
I don't wanna be in a compost bin or on inside a blue bag.
But one of the lessons learned to me of this whole process is if we don't ask, we won't know. We need to ask. And also we have to, our value, we're worth it. You know, I mean, we are so, what we, you know, ask for from each town is such a, you know, it's not even near close to the state average. So our value, what we provide, we are worth it. And I think that's what I remember that's what I remind myself when I go into any conversation with anyone, you know, is look at, you know, what we provide for the community, how important, was still a very, you know, tight budget.
With
So
all the
very, you know.
worry and joking about the trash aside, one thing that the increase for this year of what you asked for Bath was how much? Do you remember the percentage increase? It doesn't, it's not important, but I just want to acknowledge that the part of the budget that the council and the city control went up about 1.5% this year. Now, you know, the school budget is doing what it's doing and the county budget does what it's does. So your property taxes are gonna go up more than 1.5%.
Right.
But the city did its 1.5, and I think the library increase was more than that. And I just wanna say out loud, what a good job I think city management and staff did at finding places, knowing that this was gonna be a tough year with the schools and some other stuff.
Right.
And, you know, with the new fire station money and just lots of things that are coming, somehow they gave the library what they wanted. And the city budget only went up, you know, in round numbers, 1.5%. I forget the exact number. And I think they did a great job.
We'll be reaching out to every city councilor to thank them for their efforts.
Yep, good idea.
Let me just add we had some informal talks on the select board about the library in Woolwich recently. And one of the takeaways from that conversation was that if we can provide, and maybe the other towns would like this too, if we can provide more detailed information about spending and about like the sort of the financial review, for example, if we could share some factoids out of that with the towns, that might go a long way to sort of dispel any concerns that we're mismanaging money or, you know, whatever. And because just a budget doesn't tell the whole story. You gotta
Right.
show what you actually spent.
We usually do that, except we didn't have it in time. I usually do share the budget actual, but yeah, because of this year.
So that's just a thing that we can.
Yeah, no, it's an
sort of
important
help-
thing.
Help with transparency.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I will just pretty much nothing. I won't share. Our budget is, you know, and our expenses are an open book.
One thing that was really helpful in West Bath, and I want to thank you, was the bullet points. And things got a little contentious, but we were handing those out like candy, and that was really helpful. And for next year, with those bullet points, if we could match the budget, like for this and the cost involved.
Absolutely.
I think the association of what you get and the dollar and do something very easy graphic might be, a equation might be really helpful.
Good idea.
I
That's
know,
great.
between Leah and I, we hit all the meetings, and they just wanted to know, and the support is there. But I think the more that we can drive the point home that you receive this, and this is the cost, and boy, isn't that a great value? The community responds to that. And for the naysayers, really, that percentage is really small in West Bath. And that bullet points really shut down that negative discussion, so thank you.
Great. Well, that's a great thing to add for next year.
Yep.
Yeah, along the lines for West Bath, I did get one feedback that with those bullet points, one thing was is it said, you know, what you would lose, but that was sort of the way the vote was going with this sort of this library choice business. But some people felt like it should be spun more in a positive way,
But
like
you
what the
can't-
library
yeah, I think
offers
We
don't
did it
not.
this year
So I
for
feel
that
like
reason,
that's-
but yeah, I don't think, we're not gonna do, right, that was for a very, very specific reason because of the two articles on the warrant.
Oh,
It isn't normally how we would spin it. I normally don't do it that way. I only focus on the positive, but we did it this way a little bit differently because of the.
That was,
of
but I did
this
get that
particular year.
feedback, but also it was great to see town meeting be full, so it was 99 to 10, so in our little.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's incredible.
Yeah, cause
That's
it
very
was
good.
written ballot, they didn't
Yeah.
wanna have, they thought that would make people uncomfortable to share how they were focused.
Oh.
Yeah, so,
9 to 10, that's
If you're
very
gonna
good.
boldly reject.
and then also the letters out to the card holders.
The letters out to
very-
card,
very
huge
effective.
difference.
That was
Yeah.
well received.
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah,
We're working on an annual municipal outreach plan. We talked about it today at department head, and that's going forward to kind of make this more of a proactive instead of reactive. So that we can, and just have something that we do each year. you
And
know,
also
that
to
we just-
memorialize what we're already doing,
Right,
so it
right.
combines.
And take some of it off of
lessons, and
plate.
there'll be some, we're gonna be working on that over the summer.
Yeah.
I just swing back again. A couple people told me that, said, hey, I didn't get a letter. And then it occurred to me this whole issue about having an active library card and I think,
Right, so
I think
yeah,
that
that's
actually,
exactly
I looked
right.
at one and I think, well, I'm sorry, I can't remember how the specifics, but the gist of it was, is I think their cards had expired.
Yeah. Yeah, cause the list, they get it, right, they weren't in our database, they didn't, but if they had an expired card, they still got everybody's email, or they don't have an email address. Or we don't leave
have
an
their own.
email.
Yeah,
So
I
that, again,
started to
that's
talk
a
to
good
Cookie.
point, we have to think about, do we wanna extend to people without email?
Did you have something you?
I did, rather than doing that once a year, could we do that to the towns quarterly?
Yeah.
Where we're always on the radar
Yeah.
rather than just
Yeah.
during the
Yeah,
ask.
Yes.
so our
We're
plan
working
is
on
a
that.
quarterly
Good.
plan of,
Awesome.
basically I took it and put it through the lens of development. Say the municipalities were just a donor. How would we do this through each quarter? And so that's what we're kind of look at is making sure impact reports go out, making sure we show up here and there for meetings and just, so we're not just walking in once a year with our hand out. You know, just reminding everybody of what we do all year. So yeah, we'll probably reach out, I'm assuming, as we start to do this, maybe with some of the town reps on the board to get an idea of what works best for each town.
Right.
Right,
Yeah.
for Bath, I think, during our council meetings, we do committee reports and my involvement here
Right.
falls under that,
Yeah.
so.
Right.
Yeah, so
Just tell
it
me
can come
that
sometime and
here's your
yeah.
committee report for this.
your committee report, there you go.
I have
Tell
to
me what
draft
to
it up
say.
for you.
Exactly.
Right, so right,
What you want me to say.
Have letters gone to the Georgetown card holders?
we aren't, I wasn't planning on doing one for Georgetown card holders because we don't yet, we didn't, these were particular ones we were concerned about,
They
so
did
this
get
year.
the why libraries matter, not the cards, the donors got the why
The
libraries
donors,
matter,
right.
yes,
Donor,
yeah.
okay.
But we didn't do
That's fine.
concerted, yes.
But going forward, and that
On
is just
Saturday.
logistical issues, honestly, the difference between Sierra and Little Green Light, but we're working on how to make that so that I have, because if we have the patrons in my database, we can communicate with them a lot better, so that is something we're trying to work on. Yeah.
That's good.
Guys, it's 5:53. I do have a
We still
full
have
agenda.
executive.
So we have to talk about old business first, if done with the current topic.
I haven't
Everybody was doing, oh, somebody had, something was gonna.
The ARPA grant, the.
Oh, the accessibility entrance, yeah, I didn't have it, but because you brought it up, but I don't know if I need to say anything else now or probably not. I think I'll just,
Okay,
I can save that till probably the September meeting. I'll have a lot more information.
Oh, good.
on
okay, good.
Where we are, yeah.
So if that's the case, then I'll take a motion to go into executive session.
No,
It's the town of Pittsburgh, but that,
Oh, I missed. Sorry.
There you go.
I missed, no, I haven't.
so that's,
Counterfeit was
I
that.
wanna
obviously had
bring that up,
executive session on mine.
that was something.
Me too.
Okay, so do we have new business? Pittsburgh.
I think that one's mine.
Yeah, it is yours.
This came up, this has come up on several occasions, both in the finance committee and more recently in the capital campaign committee. It seems like it would be a good idea to try to start making some effort to bring Phippsburg back into the fold of the as a library supporting community. Since they sort of unceremoniously left, when it didn't
In
pass.
2012.
It didn't pass the town warrant one year, and I guess there was really no further effort in subsequent years to bring them back. So we were thinking, Carl and I talked a little bit about this at the capital campaign committee. One of the things, like right now, Pittsburgh could potentially be a source of some large donors for the capital campaign. I think having their municipal support could hugely benefit our whole realignment of the municipal funding model. And I think it would be worth the energy to put together a small committee that includes some Phippsburg people to strategize about what we could do to bring them back. So that was sort of the proposal, was to get the board's blessing to do that.
I don't think.
Worth
it's
a
any
try.
negative.
A try, for sure.
Population in Phippsburg.
It's like three.
It's like just under 3,000, I think.
Is that in the winter time?
Yeah.
Summertime.
Yeah, no, summertime it probably busts
Yeah.
up, but I think, hold on. I can.
This is a subject of conversation in the government.
2,155 was at the last census.
What was that?
2,155 at the last census.
How many in
Probably
Georgetown?
boosted summer.
How many in Georgetown?
1,000,
Yeah.
1,050 or some thousand, yeah.
Twice as big.
So I don't know, other than just agree that we should do this. I mean, if there's consensus to do this, then
Is this like some R&D? Is that, doing a little research? Is that what
Keep
we're,
going.
well, I think
we're not like marching up to the town hall?
I mean, I imagine like maybe with Allison Hepler's help,
Question.
she's got a lot of connections on account of her other job
Right.
in Pittsburgh.
I don't think we need a motion or anything for it. It's not.
It's a consensus.
Yeah, it's a consensus thing.
Yeah.
in the committee. So I think we can all agree that Tommy wants to take the lead and move ahead with that. That's wonderful.
I'm happy to try to do that.
Start with some, I don't know how many, we can probably have a list of all the card holders that actually have paid money.
Plus there's still corporators.
We have like,
We have a couple of corporators still.
yeah, we
too.
still
I
have a
think.
couple of corporations.
Yeah.
We have somebody on the donor list who lives in that,
Oh, yeah,
who
of
lives in Phippsburg.
course we do,
Yes,
yeah.
we do.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
one of the
we
big
do.
donor,
Well,
you know, and that those 10 people that you talked to, one of them is
I don't
Pittsburgh.
know, yeah, but I think.
Oh, it's the capital campaign? Oh, yeah, we do, we have at least one.
If there are like trustees who are interested in, being part of an ad hoc to maybe let Tommy know, would that be the appropriate?
Yeah, well,
place?
I'll try to recruit Allison because I know her connections down there are good. And then if anybody else feels like getting involved, then let me know and
And I'll
set up a
certainly,
meeting.
wanna be involved.
Our town, the West Bath Town Administrator is the chair of the Phippsburg Select Board. So it's kind of an interesting.
Interesting. Interesting.
Summer home in Pittsburgh, how does that work?
So do they live in Pittsburgh?
Or property?
I mean, you don't
Board, yeah, they
wait,
must.
I mean, she's a.
Cause she's a paid employee in West Bath, they
Yeah.
must live in Pittsburgh, yeah.
Okay.
That makes-
Previous administrator.
Yeah, she couldn't be.
They're
on the
very
board.
close.
She wasn't living there.
Well,
I think she does live in Pittsburgh. I don't know that.
maybe she's right on, maybe she lives in Meadowbrook, maybe she's right on the end.
Oh, dear.
All right,
Okay.
that
When you move,
executive session.
okay, I'm gonna stop the recording.
I move to go into executive session.
Second.
So then.
Second, Suki, all in favor?
Yes.